I'm Alana from IGN, and I'm here with John from Gunfire Games. You guys just announced Darksiders 3.
Yes.
So today, we thought we would play the first Darksiders. Let's jump into it. I absolutely love this game, but I haven't even looked at it in a pretty long time now.
Well, today we're going to be looking at the War Mastered Edition, the one that was a recent re-release for modern consoles, as well as it got a PC upgraded
It does look
at the
pretty
same time. So I think like a lot of the art really holds up after all this time.
I mean, it's a really distinct design and style in Darksiders, which is one of the things that actually originally drew me to the series. Because I really like how everything's designed, and that still absolutely holds up in this. So where are we right now?
So at this point in a normal playthrough, the players would have just ridden an angelic griffin that War stole and rode into this area. Unfortunately, it was met with the boss of this level, Tiamat, and it flew off with the angel griffin. So now War's kind of stuck outside this church, and he has to go check it out. It's pretty much the first major dungeon that people would experience playing Darksiders.
It's very big, and I remember this taking me a long time. We probably won't get to the boss fight, but it was super hard. But definitely one of my favorites, so I like sort of remember all of this. Is that helpful, Watcher?
Yes, voiced by Mark Hamill.
I know, it's crazy.
Yes.
It's basically his Joker voice.
Yep. Very similar. It's not exactly the same.
Yeah. So the sword, I feel
So
like...
yes, so this is every dungeon kind of has a gimmick that's kind of present throughout it. In this one, it's this sword here, which is really cool because then it kind of replaces the Chaos Eater temporarily, so you can use it in combat. But also it acts as a key. So right now the door is locked, and all you need to do is just put it in here, kind of your intro to like the kind of dead simple version of it, of like put it here. And throughout the course of this dungeon, you'll need to find those to progress through the dungeon.
Just keep that door open.
Yep, that's how you open doors in the post-apocalypse.
So that's the guy that you would have been riding, right?
Yes, War was riding that griffin, and then the Bat Queen Tiamat attacked us mid-flight. So they're having
Is that
a little
her right
scuffle.
now?
Yes.
Man.
So they're having a scuffle, and that's also like a thematic element we have throughout. You'll kind of barge in, and they'll be in the middle of a fight.
Just fighting, yeah.
Yep.
I kind of like that, though, that it shows you before you even get to the boss. It's not like you get a boss key and you just open a room and then see it for the first time. It's like you have context for it before you even get there.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely something we wanted to. We kind of did as much as we could throughout this. Like you'd see, like elements of the boss throughout. I think maybe one of them might have been a secret. They're kind of like when you get to it, it's like, oh wow, that's the boss. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like also nice that all of the enemies in the areas are like relevant to the kind of boss that you're fighting as well.
Yeah, like
these flying guys, mini bats.
Yeah, they're the Dusk Bats, is I think their official name. But yeah, there's a lot of bats in this bat goo, which took forever to do because it all was handcrafted.
No way.
It's all the geo is unique to this room in particular. So anytime we went through and tried to change the room or moved it a little bit for design or any kind of updates, somebody had to go back and adjust it again.
Change everything?
Pretty much.
Man.
Yes, it was definitely, we learned a lot of how not to do things on this one.
Here's how you make a game the hard way.
Yes, it's definitely the hard way is kind of how we did everything. And then, here's one of those swords again, it's already in place. In this case, you just, oh wait, it's already open.
Oh, the door is not locked.
Yes, it's not locked.
I remember this area really
yeah.
distinctly as well. So that means something probably goes down out here. I remember being
what
up
would
on
make
the
you
top
think that?
balcony
Like this slow camera pan?
everything seems fine. Here we go. So this is something that's not going to be in Darksiders 3, is that a door basically gets locked in a little combat arena, effectively.
Yeah, that's a big thing we wanted to bring to Darksiders 3, that it feels very old school to walk into a room and then you're ambushed. So we want to try to get away from that and make the creatures and the characters that you interact with to feel like they actually were doing something before you showed up.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, you don't necessarily need to lock them away anyway because of the RPG elements in the Darksiders series. People want to collect the souls to upgrade their stuff anyway, right? So it's like, I'm probably going to fight everyone anyway. I don't really need to lock anything away. So what abilities do you actually have right now?
Right now, I think all we have is the horn. Okay. So that was used to talk to the tormented gates, which would let you progress through.
Stand up and...
Yep. and then they would give you a quest, or just get out of your way. Another thing that's fun to do with it was you could use it in combat.
Oh yeah.
Knock them back.
Yeah, I remember finding those gates like oddly cute.
Oh, these ones?
No,
Or,
the tormented gates.
Oh,
They're
yes.
like just big, burly, moving gates, basically.
we joked they were inspired by the large rock creature in Neverending Story.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know if they were, if it was more of a retroactive, like, oh yeah.
In retrospect, why not?
Yeah.
Ah, so explosive. R.I.P. Alright, so now you got some flying guys out here.
Yep.
So there's one door here that's got blue on it. That's like one of the last ones you open, right?
Yes. Okay. So after this fight, I'll find that I can't open the door.
Yeah.
You need to actually use, you're searching for the dungeon key at that point.
Yeah.
Which, appropriately enough, in the Darksiders game is a dagger, and you stab him right in the eye, which is
because of
always
course
great.
you do.
Yeah, I mean, you kick doors open and you stab locks with a blade.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's a badass. Are we still gonna expect Fury to do that kind of stuff?
There will be elements of that. Yeah, it's definitely like every character, every horseman kind of has their own way of going through the world. And in Darksiders 2, like Death had his Reaper hands come out for pretty much everything, opening doors, ripping open chests. Whereas like War punched chests open.
Yep.
He like Death ripped them open. So I'm sure we have a lot of cool things we're not ready to talk about for how she interacts with things in the world. So.
That's exciting. It's like I've never been so excited to see how someone opens a chest. We'll have to find out. So you've got those yellow bars. Those are abilities, aren't they? The two yellow ones?
So there's two bars. Obviously, green is health, and then yellow is the wrath, which would let him do a wrath ability, bring it up with the left bumper. And then
I remember that one on X. It just like shoots a bunch of blades through the ground.
Yep, blade geyser.
That's it.
And and then the blue ones are the currency.
So what's it like playing this now? It's been a while since this game came out.
I actually played it when the War Master first came out. I started playing it again. It's really funny to go back and play it again. So.
Is it just like a weird sense of nostalgia?
It's really weird because I spent so much time, specifically in the church, working on it that it almost feels like a place in my mind. And coming back to it is really weird. It's a strange experience to come back to something where you actually have like explicit memories of like I remember this corner. I remember this doorway kind of thing.
Yeah, because I bet you have like a very different relationship to Darksiders 1 than most players would have, in that you physically created this.
Yeah.
This is here because you made it.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Like, why did you choose to show us the cathedral specifically?
So the again, it was the one dungeon that really, like, for the longest time when we were developing Darksiders early on, we were still trying to kind of figure out what Darksiders was. Like, we had a lot of like cool ideas. We had a lot of cool moves. We had a lot of puzzle mechanics. Like he can go do his glide, all these things, but we didn't really have the pacing and the flow of what that looks like, of like, how long till a puzzle, how long till combat. And it was kind of like we had a big trade show coming up. I can't remember if it was a Comic-Con or an E3, but we have to do this now.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things.
We have to make this a game.
We have to make this a game. So it was the first one we actually figured it out, and there's like lots of high fives around the office when we did.
So it was like you built this and you're like, okay, this is what
Darksiders is. Now we need to do this like 5 more times.
That's cool. But like when you built the first one, did you use it as a staple for how to build each of the other dungeons, like in terms of pacing? Is that?
Yes. Yeah, very much so. Where it's just like, hey, so like in this case, I spent some time on the surface. Now I'm going below the church to go to the catacombs area, and I get kind of a peek, but then you kind of come back up. And you kind of weave your way around, which actually is very similar to kind of how we're even constructing the world in Darksiders 3, where there's a lot of times where you go into an area, you might not see all of the area, and then you go into a new area that kind of wraps back on itself.
It's cool. It gives you like a bunch of different perspectives on one place, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember Darksiders 2, Death had that wall run instead of having those.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a lot more kind of agile.
Yeah, he's kind of the rogue of the group, so he was very agile based. So he would run along the walls. He could run up the walls as well.
Yeah, and I remember some like kind of wall jumping around certain corners.
Yep.
It was fun.
Yep.
Is Fury gonna have a lot of the same traversal kind of stuff like that too?
She definitely does have a lot of different ways to get around the world. It kind of ties into her magic abilities. Being the mage of the group, she's definitely got a lot of stuff she can do at her disposal. Fans of the series will definitely recognize similarities as you can look between like 1 and 2 of what War and Death shared. You can see you'll see the same kind of thing with a little bit of a different spin on it. So I definitely think like they'll find new ways to use kind of the tools we give them that they might not have in the previous Darksiders games.
You guys pay a lot of attention to like player feedback for that kind of stuff? Like, oh, people loved this, we have to include this again. And...
Yeah, I definitely think so. Like I always like scour the forums and kind of see what the things that stick out as people's favorites are.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I think it's important.
Yeah, because I think like making something yourself, you could totally lose perspective on stuff that you like and stuff you don't like, especially if you've seen something a million times. You could end up hating it and other people could love it.
Yep, there's probably numerous things like that in this game. In particular, it's like, oh, this was the worst. Why did we do this? People are like, this. So you never know.
Yeah. I love that the sky flips.
Yes.
Looks so good. I was trying to figure out how tall War is. And so the Chaos Eater looks like it's the same size as him when he swings it. On his back, it's almost, if you include the hilt. Like, I feel like if you had him standing and holding it, it would almost be his height, right? It's a huge sword.
It is.
And then he's a little bit taller than people.
Yes.
He's got to be like 7 foot with a 7-foot sword.
Yep.
He's a muscly guy.
He is. I mean, I always joke that he's almost as wide as he is tall.
Yeah, he's huge.
He's like a big box.
And some of the design for Fury looks like she has some of the even kind of same like skull designs and stuff on her armor, right?
Yes. Yeah, very much. Very much so. Like I mean, they're horsemen. They're basically a family. So there's a lot of similarities between their armor sets. Death was a little bit harder. Like his core outfit does.
He's shirtless, right?
He's shirtless. Even when he has a shirt, weird like strap on, he's still like he's got like a strap over his chest or like a shoulder pad. He's still pretty much shirtless.
Yeah.
But there's definitely elements of like his main, I guess his ideal design is the look that's in like a lot of the promo art.
Yeah.
But because there was loot in the game, everybody's death looked different.
Changed a lot. Yeah.
So I think even that was one of the taglines early on was choose your death.
Nice. So there's that green thing floating behind you there.
Oh yeah.
What are those called?
So those are artifacts of the Lost Legion. This is a soldier artifact.
And then you'd give them to the dealer, Volgrim?
Yes, you give them to Volgrim, and he would basically, depending on, there was small, medium, and large, basically, and he would give you a set amount of currency for that. So you could.
Which was all souls, which then you would use to upgrade everything.
To basically give back to him. He had a kind of a racket going now I think about it.
It's a very odd system, but it's
it's like, hey, give me these artifacts, I'll give you some money so you can give the money back to me. Yeah.
Really manipulated that system as the only trader in the entire universe.
Pretty much.
I love how colorful this game is. Like even just like getting those souls and when you draw them in, it's like they're all different colors and. Yeah,
color was just a huge thing in this game. Like I think it was in the era of like the next gen gray that everybody liked to talk about, and we were like, I mean, we have obviously some gray walls here, but we like some spots of color. Like that was a big thing on the art side.
Basically, War himself is a spot of color.
Yeah.
Like he's got that bright red. He's kind of bluey tinted sometimes.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely tried to make sure that like his red was iconic enough that you're not seeing that red anywhere else in the world. So characters that would wear red would be a different red than him.
Different kind of red.
Yep. So going down there, we got the I can't remember what it's called. The basically it's the key for this door, the dagger, which now will stab him in the eye.
Sorry, dude. R.I.P. This looks so ominous.
Yeah. Nothing bad will happen here.
Yeah, this is gonna be fine. So this is another one of those sword puzzles right here.
Yep, so this is the first one where you actually have to like fight somebody to get it.
Alright. doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, he's not the worst.
Did he say he grants you eternal rest? Or did War say that?
That's him. He's a lot of the guys would actually taunt.
Overconfident.
Yeah. So he was a cool guy. I think he was the only guy in Darksiders 1, I want to say, that I'm breaking his armor off, and that's basically, I'm not doing damage until I actually, that's what's
Actually
bouncing
break it
around
off.
on the floor here.
Oh, man. Oh, and yeah, you've got a...
Do the blade geysers, and that
That's
missed.
cool.
Total
Oh,
whiff.
did you really?
Yep.
That's the worst. Alright, seems to be working now. There we go.
Alright, chop his arms off, chop his waist
He is
off.
very dead. I feel like this is a good place to wrap it up. How much further do you think there is in this dungeon?
Oh, they're just probably maybe a third of the way through now. So there's lots more to see for
But
people.
definitely other people won't get it through this quickly. There's definitely stuff that would have stumped me here that you're like, that was like the back of my hand because I made it. But thank you so much for joining us, John. And for more on Darksiders 3, stay right here on IGN.